Old people smell, 99% don't know this one spot. Wash it daily and the smell is gone. My grandmother was meticulous about hygiene. She showered daily, used expensive soaps, changed her clothes twice a day. But there was still a smell, not strong, but persistent. It bothered her deeply. Then a nurse told her something that changed everything. You're washing everywhere except the one place that matters most. Within 3 days, the smell was completely gone. Today, I'm sharing what that nurse told her because 99% of seniors have never heard this. If you care about dignity and practical solutions for aging well, subscribe to the Senior Reset. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the real science behind why older adults develop a distinct odor, the one body area that 99% of people miss during daily washing, and why it matters more after age 60. A simple 90-second routine that eliminates the odor completely, and why this works when deodorants and perfumes don't. Stay until the end for the clothing tip that doubles effectiveness. Understanding old person smell. First, let's talk about what this smell actually is. Scientists call it nonenal, a chemical compound that our bodies start producing around age 40 and increases significantly after 60. It comes from the breakdown of omega-7 unsaturated fatty acids in our skin oils. This isn't about poor hygiene, it's biochemistry. Japanese researchers identified this specific compound in 2001, and it's been studied extensively since then. What makes nonenal different from other body odors is that it has a distinct greasy, grassy smell that becomes more pronounced with age. But here's what most people don't realize. Nonenal is oil-based, which means regular soap and water don't break it down effectively. It's like trying to clean oil off your driveway with just a hose. You need something stronger. That's why someone can shower thoroughly, use fragrant body wash, apply deodorant, and still carry the scent. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just fighting an oil-based compound with water-based solutions. Our bodies change as we age in ways most people never discuss. After age 40, our skin produces more fatty acids, but less of the natural antioxidants that keep those acids from oxidizing. When these fatty acids break down on the skin's surface, they create nonenal. This process accelerates after 60 because our skin becomes thinner and produces even more of these oils while having less ability to regulate them. It's a perfect storm that affects virtually everyone, regardless of how clean they are. My grandmother told me she stopped accepting dinner invitations because she was afraid people would notice. She'd ask my grandfather, "Can you smell it?" He'd say no, but she didn't believe him. This affected her confidence, her social life, her joy. She started wearing heavier perfumes, which only made things worse because the floral scents mixed with the underlying odor instead of covering it. She avoided hugging her grandchildren. She sat farther away from people in church. And she's not alone. Millions of seniors carry this quiet shame about something completely natural, and more importantly, completely solvable. The emotional toll of this biological reality often outweighs the physical reality itself. People withdraw not because others complain, but because they're hyper-aware and anxious about something they feel powerless to change. The nurse told my grandmother, "Behind and around your ears, specifically the crease where your ear meets your skull, and the area just behind your earlobes." My grandmother looked stunned. She said, "But I wash my face and neck every day." The nurse smiled and said, "I know you do. But this specific area gets missed by almost everyone, and it happens to be exactly where the problem concentrates. Here's why this matters so much. This area has the highest concentration of sebaceous glands on your upper body. These are the glands that produce sebum, the oily substance that protects your skin. As we age, these glands produce more of the specific oils that create nonenal. The area behind your ears stays warm. It's often covered by hair, and most people barely touch it with soap during their shower routine. We wash our face, we scrub our neck, we soap up our shoulders, but that little fold where the ear connects? It gets ignored. Water runs over it maybe, but actual cleansing with soap? Rarely. When you sleep on your side, your head rests on a pillow for 7 to 8 hours. The warmth and pressure cause those oils to accumulate and oxidize faster in the area pressed against the fabric. If you wear glasses, the frames trap oils and dead skin cells behind your ears all day long. If you have hearing aids, same problem. The devices create a warm, slightly moist environment that's perfect for oil build-up. The smell literally builds up in this one concentrated area and radiates outward. Because it's so close to your nose, you might not even notice it yourself, but others do when they're near your face during conversation or a hug. Here's exactly what worked for my grandmother and what geriatric care nurses recommend. In the morning, wet a washcloth with warm water and apply a small amount of antibacterial soap or a gentle degreasing cleanser. The key word is degreasing. You need something that breaks down oils, not just rinses them. Wash behind both ears thoroughly. Get your finger into that crease where your ear meets your head. Use gentle circular motions. This isn't about scrubbing hard. It's about making actual contact with soap in an area that usually gets skipped. Extend down to where your jaw meets your neck, because this is another oil concentration area that people miss. The whole process takes about 60 seconds. Rinse with clean water. This step is crucial. Don't just wipe off the soap, actually rinse it, because soap residue can trap more oils and make the problem worse. Pat the area completely dry with a clean towel. Moisture trapped in the folds behind your ears creates another opportunity for bacterial growth and odor. If desired, apply a small amount of witch hazel or diluted tea tree oil. Both of these natural astringents help break down remaining oils and have mild antibacterial properties. You don't need much. A few drops on a cotton pad is enough for both ears. Before bed, do a quick 30-second version. Use a cleansing wipe or damp cloth with a drop of antibacterial soap. Just 30 seconds per side. You're not doing a full wash. You're preventing the overnight build-up that happens when your head is pressed against a pillow for hours. This evening routine prevents you from starting each day behind. My grandmother set a small basket next to her bathroom sink with pre-moistened cleansing wipes so she wouldn't forget this step. Making it convenient made it consistent. Within 2 days of starting this routine, my grandmother noticed the difference. By day 5, my grandfather commented without her even asking. The nurse was right. 90 seconds of targeted attention to one specific area solved what months of expensive soaps, perfumes, and anxiety couldn't touch. Here's what surprised even the nurse when my grandmother went back for a follow-up. You need to change your pillowcase every 2 days, not weekly. My grandmother said, but I wash my face before bed. The nurse explained that the oils aren't just on your face. They're on your ears, your hair, the sides of your neck. And throughout the night, those oils transfer to the pillowcase fabric. Then, the next night, they transfer right back to your skin. You're creating a cycle where you clean yourself in the morning, but recontaminate yourself every night. Cotton and linen pillowcases, which are the most popular choices, are especially good at absorbing and holding on to these oils. The fabric fibres trap the nonenal compound deep in the weave. A regular wash cycle with standard detergent doesn't fully remove it, especially if you're washing in cold water to preserve the fabric. So even a freshly laundered pillowcase that's been sitting in your linen closet for a week might still carry traces of nonenal from the last time you used it. This is why some people notice the smell is stronger in the morning than it is after an evening shower. My grandmother didn't want to wash pillowcases every other day. That felt overwhelming. So she came up with a practical solution. She started using a fresh towel over her pillow each night. She'd fold a clean hand towel, place it over her pillowcase, and sleep on that. Every morning, the towel went into the laundry hamper and she'd grab another one. This was easier than changing the entire pillowcase, and towels are designed to absorb oils and release them in the wash. She bought a dozen inexpensive hand towels just for this purpose, so she never ran out. For the actual pillowcases, she started washing them in hot water with an extra rinse cycle, and she added a quarter cup of white vinegar to the fabric softener compartment. Vinegar is acidic, which helps break down the oil-based nonenal compound in a way that regular detergent can't. It doesn't leave a smell after the rinse cycle, but it does strip away the stubborn oils that standard washing misses. Some people worry that vinegar will damage fabric, but at this dilution it's perfectly safe for cotton, linen and most synthetic blends. The clothing factor extends beyond just pillowcases. Nonenal clings to natural fibres throughout your wardrobe, especially wool and cotton. Your favourite cardigan, your winter scarves, your cotton nightgowns, they all absorb these oils over time. My grandmother noticed that certain sweaters she'd worn for years seemed to carry the smell even right after washing. She started adding vinegar to every load of laundry that contained natural fibres. For clothing she couldn't wash frequently, like wool blazers or heavy coats. She hung them outside in direct sunlight for 2 to 3 hours once a week. Ultraviolet light naturally breaks down the nonenal compound. It's the same principle behind why sun-dried linens smell so fresh. She also discovered that her scarves, which sat right against her neck and behind her ears, were major carriers. She started rotating through more scarves, so she never wore the same one 2 days in a row, and she washed them weekly instead of seasonally. These small adjustments compounded. The pillowcase routine prevented overnight recontamination. The vinegar washing removed oils from fabrics. The sunlight exposure neutralized what washing missed. Together, these practices didn't just reduce the nonenal smell. They eliminated the environment where it could persist. 3 days after my grandmother started this routine, my grandfather noticed first. "Helen, you smell like yourself again," he said. She asked what he meant, and he explained. "You smell like the lavender soap you love, not like you're trying to cover something up." That's when she realized she'd been layering fragrances for months, applying perfume multiple times a day, using scented lotions, trying to create a barrier between herself and the smell she feared others noticed. Now she didn't need to. Within 2 weeks she accepted a dinner invitation she'd been avoiding for months. Her friend had asked 3 times, and she'd made excuses each time. This time she said yes. She told me later that she sat at the dinner table without thinking about whether people could smell her. She leaned in during conversations. She hugged her friend goodbye without that split-second hesitation she'd developed. I didn't realize how much mental space that worry was taking up. she said. "I feel lighter." The change wasn't just physical. Her confidence returned. She started attending her book club again. She volunteered to babysit her great-grandchildren, something she'd been declining because she worried they'd associate her with an unpleasant smell. She stopped wearing heavy perfumes and went back to her simple lavender soap and a light floral fragrance she'd always loved. She dressed in clothes she enjoyed instead of constantly calculating which fabrics might make the problem worse. This isn't about vanity. It's about dignity. It's about not letting a completely solvable biological process steal your confidence and connection with others. My grandmother is 82. She's earned the right to feel comfortable in her own skin, to hug her family without anxiety, to accept social invitations without fear. One 90-second morning routine and a few laundry adjustments gave her all of that back. The relief in her voice when she talks about it now, that's what matters. That's why this information needs to reach people. Aging changes our bodies in ways we don't always see coming, but knowledge gives us back control. That one spot behind your ears holds more power over how you feel about yourself than you might expect. 90 seconds in the morning, a fresh towel on your pillow at night, and vinegar in your laundry. 3 simple changes that eliminate a problem affecting millions of seniors who suffer in silence because no one talks about it openly. If this information brought relief or answers you've been searching for, share this video with someone who needs it. Sometimes the most caring thing we can do is share practical solutions without making it awkward. Subscribe to The Senior Reset for honest conversations about aging with dignity. Next week, we're discussing the bedroom habit affecting senior sleep quality that has nothing to do with mattresses. Drop a purple heart in the comments if you learned something new today. And if you have other questions about topics people don't usually discuss openly, let me know. This channel exists because those conversations matter.